so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
Welcome to Kill the Stigma. And the people in the Legacy program accusing him, or not accusing him directly, but accusing the gatekeepers, matching exactly that description. So, that's just a learning experience for me. That's all it is. But I was thinking, what are these people saying? What are they trying to tell us? Some people, you have Stephen Greer, for example. By the way, there's a lot of gold with Stephen Greer. And trust me, I judge him as a personality. And the truth is, anybody who gets close to the truth will be targeted by intelligence agencies. There's something way too important here for you not to be targeted, okay? Because like if you can summon, let's say, UAP, orbs, whatever, they have to keep an eye on you. I mean, think about religions, right? Like Jesus Christ, Christianity, I mean, the Star, Bethlehem, and it can become something very powerful, very powerful. That's a good way to, like, if the phenomena ever decides to come out of the shadows and use experiencers could suddenly get a boost, be freaking superheroes or something. I don't know. Like remote viewing, like honestly, like if you really think about it, right now, the phenomena is like here, like here's where most people are. And the phenomena is like kind of being shady, like just like right underneath where it can like be under the radar of like most people, because people are just trying to pay their bills. People are just trying to make money, and they don't want to deal like, is this going to affect my daily life or not? That's it. That's all they want to know. And if it doesn't, I don't care. And the phenomena is able to do that right now. Except, what's up with those mystery drones that flap we got last year? Not going to go into that, but I will say I had a terrifying experience Saturday, December 13th, 2025. Yes, last Saturday. I have a video. It's very embarrassing. I don't think I've ever said that many F-bombs in my life. And I was freaking out. And it's, if anybody wants to see it, let me know. Like, I'm all about transparency, and like, lucky for you, I don't care that much what people think. But it's really bad. It's embarrassing, and I pushed out. I freaked out. It's a moment that I felt very vulnerable. It's, those drones are dangerous. I'll tell you why they're dangerous. I was in the highway, and I haven't seen them. I've been sky watching every night. I'm like, they're back. It's December. We're going to get another flap. They're here. Like, I was kind of like that. And it was kind of a night that I was kind of celebrating. You know what I mean? So I was kind of like, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of wild. And so I was celebrating. I was supposed to drive for a mile, okay? Literally just a mile. I started seeing all these drones, and I started drone chasing. And I end up in a road in the middle of nowhere. Middle of nowhere. No cars around. Completely vulnerable. Not a single human being. It's negative 10 degrees outside. I don't have any winter gear in my car. Not really. I have like a jacket and like maybe some gloves. But like, I wasn't prepared. I know what you're thinking. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so point is, I freaked out. I followed it for a while. And then in the video, I'm just like, I gotta go, because this is where things go wrong. Like, if you're gonna get abducted, or something bad is gonna happen to you, it's gonna be when there's nobody around. It was nobody around. It was terrifying. Terrifying. So, yeah, moment of vulnerability. I wasn't brave. At least I admit it. Whatever. You want to take on a freaking... What was I supposed to do, honestly? Like, you want me to, like, solve the mystery drone and put my freaking cape on and fly and bring that thing down? Is that, like, was I supposed to, like...
Hold on.
Turn left. In half a mile, turn right onto 225th Street West.
I don't even know where I am right now. Oh, so... I don't want to get abducted. I don't want to get abducted. Freaking out because it started. That thing looks weird, and I'm in the middle of a road.
Seriously, that did happen, and it was terrifying for me. So let's go back to Jim Semivan's comments, okay? Jim Semivan, coincidentally, was, well, he doesn't like to say abducted, but he had his experience when he was in the program. Guess what? Lou Elizondo, in his book, he talks about orbs in his house, right? Kenneth Arnold, the pilot, he had orbs in his house. Skinwalker Ranch, what do we hear about? The hitchhiker effect. Now, the hitchhiker effect is, it follows you, and it makes things very weird, and I guarantee most people do not like talking about them, because they're probably so freaking strange, you're not going to believe them. You're going to think they're insane. I mean, freaking wolf smoking cigarettes. What's that, a dog man? Dog man smoking a cigarette? Like, well, boy, can you freaking do cocaine with it too? Like, I mean, Jesus, sorry. It's just insane. It's absurd. It's absurd. Jack Ballet calls it absurd, right? So, speaking of dog man, I just heard a story in the channel called, UFO videos, JMEZ, and they have a dog man, and this woman is getting kind of stalked by it. I've dealt with psychos before, but dealing with a dog man, I feel for that guy. But like that's think the dog man's in love with your wife, dude, and I don't know. I would just get the hell out of there. That would be terrifying. But good luck. Yeah, it's rough, man. It's rough. See how absurd it sounds? But I believe him. I do. As I was saying, Jim Semivan gets this position dealing with alien tech, right? He's dealing with alien tech. Let's just say it like it is. Crash retrievals, all that stuff. And that's when he gets his experience. All right. So,
and because of what happened to my wife and what happened to me. So was there a more sinister element in my experience? Possibly. I was told that by somebody who knows, said that they think there could have been a more sinister element involved. What that actually means and what that entails, I don't know. But, you know, that's why I don't disregard the people who, like my friend Melinda Leslie, who had a really number of frightening experiences, and she relates those to what she calls military abductions, MILABs. And that may be easy to dismiss for some people. I don't dismiss that at all. I know Melinda and heard her story. I find her completely believable and her story compelling. So I don't, to me, everything's up in the air. We don't know.
you see, and the same thing with Jay Stratton, Travis Taylor. These people are dealing with alien tech right now. I guarantee it. Can't prove it, but just with my tiny brain, and I do have a tiny brain and a big heart, I'm a lover. I can, it's obvious. It's obvious that that's what they are doing, okay? So, what does that mean? What are the reasons for secrecy? Why the stonewalling? Why all that? Could it be that, like, if all of us take disclosure seriously and all of us go down this rabbit hole, could we all get hitchhikers? If so, how do we deal with that? Like, how, the point is that I think they're making is that they're going to lose complete control. The government will lose. How are you going to control that? From a government perspective, you can't control it. You're done. It's over. It's over. Like, you're not, like, and no one's going to take you seriously. And God knows where we would be, though. That would be really interesting if we go down that rabbit hole. And I do think there's a very reflective component to it. So, like, if you're, like, not an ass, like, if you're humble, right? Like Greer does the thing. Like, positive vibes, you know, love and light. Kind of boring, but still, no, it's not, that was immature. I'm sorry, but no, you put positive vibes out and reach out loving or whatever, and people tend to have good experiences. That's the truth, and that's serious. I'm sorry for I apologize, but that is true. Most people do. Now, I haven't heard any horror stories. Tom DeLonge, Jimbo. Like, I've heard you guys say that there's been horror stories. I haven't. I've heard James Hindoli and I've heard other people talk about, like, really good experiences and, like, it makes kind of sense. I have not heard a single horror story with C5, but I haven't looked that much into it, so that could be why. Now, yeah, that could be one of the consequences from full disclosure, right? Like, we're just gonna go into a freaking weird-ass world. Say we do it, disclose. Look at how things are going right now. Like, look at the United States and the whole world right now. It's rough out there. I mean, there's wars everywhere. Everywhere. Venezuela, the Middle East, Russia, Ukraine, China wants Taiwan, even America. There's like a whole racial thing going on. This tangent warning, Tom DeLonge style tangent. This is gonna get kind of heavy. Not saying it's related, but Tom DeLonge talks about division. The phenomena once is divided. And it almost talks about like religion and how every religion is represented by a non-human intelligence that has beef with each other. Right? Tom DeLonge says that. Greek gods didn't get along, Christianity against, Allah, whatever. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't gone down that rabbit hole that bad, but like, Tom DeLonge just keeps like, I don't know. It's like, as time goes by, it's like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, that keeps happening to me with Tom. And I thought he was insane when I heard him in Joe Rogan. I'm like, man, poor Tom. Like, I'm worried about his mental health, man. Like, what happened? For real, that's how I felt. And like now, like I'm like, whoa, dude. Like, a lot of the stuff he's been saying is right. Now, I'm not saying because we've been disclosing that like this is all going on, right? That's not what I'm saying. But it is kind of another coincidence, like, that you got to take into account. Look, literally, even in the United States, I'm Puerto Rican, so I'm a U.S. citizen. But like, I know a lot of people that are terrified right now. I'm not going to get into politics, I'm sorry, but like, everybody's scared. A lot of Hispanics, people that are illegals, they're terrified. So even inside our land, I'm just saying, there's a lot going on. So why don't you just disclose? We're all human. We're all one race. Let's get together and feel all right. Freaking Bob Marley, man. One love. I'm serious. Like, Jim, if you're watching this, I know what you're thinking. Oh, that's cute, Christian. Like, do you want a freaking red pill or a blue pill? Because that sounds like a freaking fantasy blue pill. But, like, I know, but, like, still, man. I mean, the truth is the truth. So, and, like, at this point, what do we have to lose? I get it. Unpredictable consequences. That's it. That's what it comes down to. It's unpredictable consequences. risk, high risk, right? With very little return. What, truth? If you're in the government and you're saying you're dealing with this problem, it's like, what, like truth? Like that's all I'm getting out of it? Like, you know, like I'm investing the truth and getting nothing in return except like I did the right thing, right? And then like think about like CIA style, right? I remember this, Andrew Bustamante said this. You know, and he said this in an interview, nothing related to UFOs. He's talking business-wise and other. He said, you know your principles hold you back in success. Dude, that stung with me. That actually stung with me. And I'm not, like, because, like, I'm like, damn. Yeah, and, all right. Yeah. Yeah, but what if Tom was right? So, like, let's go. Let's talk about, why don't we just, you know what, forget the crazy Christian who's wild and mumbling about UFOs and talking all crazy. Why don't we just let a freaking scientist from, you know, like an elite scientist, which, by the way, no other scientist from his level, and Mick West, you're not a freaking scientist. It's freaking embarrassing trying to take on Gary Nolan. Why don't you just get another academic with a PhD to go against him? For real. Like, not a freaking skeptic. I'm talking about, like, somebody with a freaking PhD. Where the hell is Donald Mansell, Carl Sagan, all these people when you need them, all right? Like, what, they're gone? What about you, Bill Science Guy? I used to see you in interviews back in the day. You're still alive. Why don't you just freaking talk to Gary Nolan online? Let's do a debate. Let's do a debate. No one will go. And you know what? Shout out to Diana Pasulka, American Cosmic. She talks about, she used to call it Tyler, but it's really Tim Taylor. And she used to call Gary Nolan, when he was not public, James. That was the pseudonyms. And she used to say how James would love getting into a debate about this topic and just bringing someone down and, like, just schooling them on this. And, like, I want to see that. I haven't seen any academics stand up to Gary Nolan. And it's time you guys freaking do, or you guys look like cowards. Like, straight up. Or is it like, you know, you just can't win? Like, anyways, let's see what Gary Nolan has to say, because he says the word evidence, which is fascinating to me, because you know what that means to a scientist. The word evidence means there's a bit of data there, more than one case, that there's problems that non-human intelligence has with each other. What? And, like, it just makes me wonder about all these problems we're having all of a sudden.
UFO phenomenon is interested in the bad things, and it brings along a lot of bad things.
The way it's explained to me is that they are gods. The pain and the anger and the emotional energy of all the war is something that they're interested in. Humans organize around a priestly class. There's multiple different races. It's not just one specific kind, and the different races don't get along with each other. Genetics and biology play a major role in all of this. The entire UFO phenomenon is about multiple gods that fight amongst themselves and, by design, factionalize mankind into different religions to step back and let us fight each other, so it has other things that it wants to accomplish. Traces its roots back to antiquity, long before the ancient Greeks, going back to Atlantis and beyond. What you have is something that doesn't like man, period, and something that has some kind of plan for what man is to be. But it's not just one group, some that have been here forever, maybe long before we were. It has a tendency to stay in charge. I had one person tell me extinct ancient civilizations are possibly evidence of those who did not obey. And then there's other groups that are outside of the solar system that are just bad news.
To keep us from elevating our consciousness.
Government is very aware that this intelligence is pitting different countries against each other based on religion.
The UFO phenomenon has a hive mind.
Some of the bodies that were retrieved in the back of the brain was a transmitter.
They potentially don't have souls.
And right when I sit down and I have a chance to bring this person on board, and he stops me and he goes, when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of Greek mythology.
They feed off fear that Atlantis was real. Something was very important about that time frame and very important about who the humans were at that place.
These things are zipping around and doing weird things with animals, doing weird things with people and abductions. They're off trying to accomplish something.
Jason Samosa, go check him out. I will leave the link below. Whoa. That was kind of heavy, man. Like, I don't know, dude. That was heavy. And this is what I'm saying. We gotta fix these problems, man. I'm telling you, dude. Like, look, I'm gonna get personal here for 1 second, but like, it doesn't matter your religion. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian, if you're black, if you're Hispanic, I mean, white. Like, you freaking judge person by person, not by race, not by religion. And this is what Tom DeLonge was saying, dude, which freaking goes kind of deep. He's like, oh, UFOs, they're gonna turn us into freaking robots, and you know, like the internet came out of it, all this technology, and now we're just glued to the phone, and we don't care. Now you got all these keyboard warriors, and nobody can get an ass beating, and we're not connecting as human beings. And like, he goes on these tangents. Jason Samosa did a great episode on this, and it's like, damn, dude, like do you guys understand? Like, do you guys feel me, or am I? It's me just like overthinking stuff. Anyways, let's see what Gary Nolan has to say.
That, let's say, evidence. Again, people are going to misquote me. Evidence does not equal a conclusion. Evidence is just the raw material for a hypothesis. There's evidence that whatever it is that we're dealing with does not all comport to a common command structure. It's not one thing. It seems to be many things. Many things that might be in tension with each other. Think of, in the crudest sense, the colonial powers of the 16 and 1700s, England, Spain, France, the Netherlands, Portugal, all fighting with each other for the raw materials of the planet. Now, I'm not saying that we're raw materials. Planet Earth is such, and that we're being fought over by other things, but that these things seem to be not happy with each other. At least there's evidence of that.
During our time together, all 15 of us saw some form of unusual lights in the sky. These lights would randomly appear, stay for some short period, and then disappear. Oftentimes, multiple lights would seem to appear at once. They would frequently move in patterns or angles that, at least to me, seemed unusual for a plane, satellite, meteor, or space debris. But I am no expert. On the last day, however, one thing did happen.
We had a couple of our folks that felt like it was a good time to try to communicate with potentially a craft or an entity that was out there through the methods that they use. I just took a spot up on the roof to be able to observe what's out and around us, and then also have another set of eyes that are up above us. So got on the roof to say, I'll be up here, had my phone, let's be ready to record if something went down, and it did.
The psionic team claimed to be connecting with an object, and our sensor data caught this. While this was happening, Fred went up to see if he could see anything with his naked eye.
So I can hear them talking through certain things, and then he said something like, it's forming. As soon as he said that, I stepped out to look behind me, and that's when I saw whatever it was.
Suddenly, Fred saw a second object appear above our base camp.
It was all gray, matte, like not shiny at all. It was elongated oval, where it looked like there was, the opposite of a seam bursting out in the middle, going all the way around, and so it looked like a rim, because the bottom half of it was extremely dark. It made absolutely no sound, which doesn't make sense because of its proximity. Like, if it was small, it was something maybe the size of this razor, then it was really close. We're talking 500-600 feet. If it was larger, which I kind of believe that's what it was, you're looking at 5 to 8 meters long, then probably around 1,500, 2,000 feet altitude moving north to south. You know, it looked sturdy, it looked heavy. Wasn't a bird. You know, if it were an aircraft, any kind of conventional thing that we have now, it would have rocked us at how low it was. So 20 years in the Air Force and never even seen anything close to that. Nothing. There was no observable propulsion. There was no wings. There was no rotor. With that kind of speed, you should hear something, especially if it was that close. So I was shaking. Like, it was super exciting. I mean, I'm not going to start shaking over an F-16 flying overhead or a bird dive bombing. That was incredible. Yeah, I don't know what to say.
Dr. Nolan was there, and this was his perspective.
I personally didn't see anything in the sky or on the ground, but what I did see was an individual who, in the midst of attempting to call such an object, exactly at the moment that he said he was interacting with something, the individual on the roof who had the cameras saw something. When we reviewed what it was that the person on the roof had seen, something showed up. I mean, it was fleeting, but it was clearly not a bug. And so what do I have? I have a person who claims to be doing something. It was clear that he was in distress at the moment of the supposed interaction. And at that moment, something is seen. What do you have? You have a correlation.
So we have an egg-shaped object that our sensors caught moving in one direction, supposedly connected to our psionics team, and a disc-shaped object that Fred reportedly saw moving in a different direction. We worked with an animator to specifically visualize the disc that Fred saw. This is a recreation from his vantage point. For reference, this is what he believes the disc looked like, and this is the speed we calculated the disc was moving over the building. Our experience raises a lot of questions that we don't yet have the answer to.
I was there not to provide any conclusions. I was there to make sure that everything that was being done in a scientifically accurate way, as dispassionately as possible, and to be part of the advisor team to make sure that this was done in a way that at some point, if it ever wanted to be put together into a scientific paper, we had collected the kind of metadata required to say, well, we might not have a conclusion, but here is at least a story that tells us that the data which we're providing to perhaps some future event might be looked back to and said, oh, well, what happened there worked, that didn't work, so let's try this again so that we can perhaps make it repeatable.
I couldn't find much. I know he's got a lot more data. The only thing I found was like this Skywatcher thing where the UFO is, there's this psionic guy connecting with the UFO, and then another UAP comes and blocks it. Whoever's rep penetration, you know about the Men in Black, you know about the moon, and you know about remote viewing, and you know also Pavel covers Jacobo Greenberg, right? And how he was studying consciousness and he disappeared, right? Like there's a few red lines that will get the Men in Black attention, and it seems like consciousness and like humanity discovering their full potential is one of them. So the question is there a power out there that wants to connect with us, and then a group, whether it's a human breakaway civilization, our government, or something mimicking us? I don't know. That would be my guess. Who's blocking this connection? But what the heck do I know? Just a guy. But here we see two different agendas, right?